In manifestation, an assumption is not just a thought, it is the central creative power that shapes your entire life. You have heard this many times. An assumption, though false, if persisted in, will harden into fact. And it's true, your life today is nothing but your assumptions outpictured. Everything you experience is the direct reflection of what you have been assuming about yourself and your world. Which means one thing: assumption is the single most powerful element to manifest your desired life. We all understand the word assumption, but when it comes to practicing it, to actually assuming something new, something better, I've personally seen many people struggle even with the simplest of things. Not because they are weak, not because manifestation is difficult, but because no one ever taught them what an assumption truly is and how to actually apply it. So, in day 4 of our 2026 Reality Architect series, a guided journey to manifest your desired life in 2026, I will give you the clearest and most practical understanding of assumption so that you can manifest your life consciously, deliberately, and successfully. And in the upcoming moments, I will be talking about 3 things. First, what an assumption truly is. Second, how to build an assumption. Third, how to put it into the practice. And let me assure you one thing: if you practice this sincerely with heart and consistency, you will master your manifestation, whether it's your specific person, the love, whether it's your wealth, your career, or your health, or any aspect of your life. So take a breath and be present and stay with me. This may become one of the most important understanding of your entire manifestation journey. And if it becomes confusing just to hear it, I would suggest you to repeat it multiple times so that you can finally understand it. Hi, this side Avit Bansal. I'm an author and a life coach in the art of conscious living, what today many people call as manifestation. And here's my assurance to you: whatever I'll be presenting in these videos and in this particular series, 2026 Reality Architect, it will be completely faithful to Neville Goddard's original intention. So let's understand assumption at its deepest level. So suppose I give you an idea, a bold, outrageous idea, and I say to you, you will marry a celebrity, not just any celebrity, but Hollywood's biggest name. The moment you hear this, your mind immediately reacts, and for the most people, reaction is quick and automatic. No, it's impossible. That's what you tell me. Now, on the surface, it seems like a simple answer, a straightforward no. But if you go inside that one word, no, if we open the door and look deeper, you'll find an entire architecture and an entire structure of reasoning, which is holding that no in its place. For example, you may think they are celebrity. They would marry someone from the same world, someone with the same money or fame or status. Or even you may think, how would they even find me if I'm about to marry them? How will they find me? They're in the Hollywood and I'm 1,000 miles away. Or why would they even look at me, something or someone like me? Layer after layer, reason after reason, your mind builds an entire case file explaining why this exactly is impossible. And eventually all the small hidden beliefs collect into one final answer: no, it cannot happen. Now here's it becomes interesting. If you look at reality, not imagination, just the reality, but real life exams, you will find celebrities who do marry non-celebrities. You will find famous people who fall in love with the ordinary people. You will find stories that completely contradict your logic of your mind, that which you have just produced. So clearly, there are no universal laws that says a celebrity must marry a celebrity. There's no conclusive evidence supporting your no. But your mind, which is trained to be logical, to be cautious, and often to lean towards negativity, becomes blind to the exceptions, blind to the possibilities, blind to evidence that goes against your belief. It chooses the familiar assumption. It chooses the reasoning that feels safe, and in doing so, it forms an assumption. So, what is an assumption? According to the dictionary, an assumption is something you accept as true without having any conclusive proof. You have accepted I cannot marry a celebrity. Not because it's a fact, not because the life has proven it to you, but because you have a structure of belief supporting that conclusion. And this is the core of assumption. The same thing happens if someone says to you, if I come to you and I say to you, you will build a $1 billion company, and immediately your inner architecture wakes up again. And you might repeat to yourself, your reasoning, I don't have the skills. These are your reasoning. I don't have the investment. I don't know the right person. I'm not from the business background, or maybe this is too big for me. None of these are universal truth. None of these are proven facts. These are countless people. Actually, if you look into the world, there are countless people who have actually built $1 billion companies without money, without network, and without education. But your mind doesn't look at possibility. It looks at what it has assumed. And from those assumptions, your entire life unfolds and your life choices. Now the question arises, how do you actually build an assumption that helps you manifest your desired life? So Neville said, and actually this is one of the most confusing thing for most of the people, feeling is the secret. But how? What exactly does that mean? So let me explain you in the simplest and clearest way possible. So whenever you strongly believe something, whether it's political ideology, your personal opinion, or even your favorite sport, it always carries a feeling attached to it. If you support an ideology and you meet someone who disagrees with you, you don't just think disagreement, you feel it. You feel the disagreement. You feel it in your heart. You feel a certain tightening and resistance, and maybe a sense of no, that's not true for me. And that feeling is disagreement. If you love cricket, for example, someone says cricket is the worst sport. Notice what happens inside of you. You feel something almost instantly, maybe a pinch in the heart, a subtle annoyance, maybe a sensation of what? That's not right. Again, that is a feeling. Your reasoning is not floating in your head. It lives inside of your feeling. And in the same way, the same is true when someone supports your idea. You feel the sense of ease, alignment, and you say, yes, exactly. So every belief, every perspective, every assumptions that you carry has a feeling attached to it. Feelings aren't just happiness or maybe sadness. They exist on massive spectrum. For example, nostalgia, when you visit your childhood home. Warmth, when you feel someone appreciate you. Tension, when someone challenges your identity. Comfort, when someone understands your point of view. Hope, when you imagine good things. Fear, when you imagine bad. So every assumption has an emotional signature. That is your feeling. And this is why someone who feels nothing says the life is lifeless. Because feeling is the building block of life. Now let's connect this to manifestation if you have understood it. Every assumption you hold is supported by certain reasoning. And every reasoning is supported by certain feeling. If a reasoning makes you feel supported, you cling to it. If a reasoning makes you feel threatened, you reject it. This means your connection to an assumption is emotional and in the feeling, not logical. So the big question becomes, how do you change the assumption? And the answer is very simple, through feeling. So let me explain how this works practically. Suppose your desire is wealth, and you create an imaginal scene where you are financially abundant and beautiful. But here's the challenge. Your current mind contains years of assumptions like wealth is difficult. People like me don't become rich. Money comes slow. I don't have enough. Assumptions like these. And each of these old assumptions carrying the feeling of lack attached to them. And that's what you have lived with for years and years. And these feelings have been reinforced again and again in your mind. So when you try to feel the wealth, your mind experiences it as something foreign. So the wealth feels foreign because it does not match the emotional pattern with which you have lived. And this is why Neville says, it takes time. The time it takes your assumption to become fact is directly proportionate to the naturalness of your feeling. So the naturalness is the key. Naturalness of the feeling. And the way to make an assumption feel natural is very simple. You practice it until the feeling becomes familiar to you. To understand this, just imagine a gym, just like the first day in the gym. The first day feels strange. The movement feels foreign, your muscle resists, your body says, this isn't me, I cannot do it. But you go to the next day, and the next day, and the next after next. Slowly the movement becomes natural, effortless and automatic, and the behavior of gym and the schedule of gym becomes natural to you. The gym becomes part of you. The same happens when assumptions. The very first day, the feeling of wealth will feel unnatural to you. Unnatural, absolutely. The second day, slightly less unnatural. The third day, even more familiar. And eventually it becomes your new normal. And this is exactly why Neville said, persist. And he also said, it is the frequency, the habitual occupancy that is the secret to success. The oftener we do it, the more natural it is. It is the frequency, not the length of time, that makes it natural. It is the frequency. Just like going to the gym. The more you are frequent to the gym, the better muscle you gain. You don't need 2 hours to meditate. You only just need to return to the feeling frequently and faithfully. And most of the time, people, when they come to me to learn about manifestation, they say, I can feel my desire as real. And I always say, you don't have to feel it perfectly. You just have to keep returning to it, because slowly and slowly the feeling changes to the reasoning. The feeling changes the reasoning, and the reasoning changes assumption, and the assumption changes your life. And this is how it all works. So Neville said, if you listen it carefully, you are already that which you want to be, and your refusal to believe this is the only reason you do not see it. Now here's the warning. Your attention is like water. Your thoughts are like seed. Whichever seed you water, it grows. So if you keep focusing on your old limitation and assumptions, that I'm not good enough, I don't have the money, I don't have it, it's not meant for me, it's not happening, you're watering the old assumption, and they will go stronger. So you must stop watering them. Instead, you put all your attention on the new assumptions, even if they feel natural in the beginning. Because the moment you decide where your attention goes, your life begins to change. But you need to make this decision. I have guided personally, if I can share my personal experience, I have guided multiple people, many people, right from retired army soldier background to the music composers, artists, CEOs and students. And the one who succeed are the one who makes the conscious decision. And the decision was to shift their thinking and attention, to change their inner pattern, and to persist with their new assumption. And those who do not make that decision, they stay exactly where they are. Manifestation becomes a beautiful concept for them, but not an experience. So I sincerely hope you choose wisely. You take that decision to change your mindset, to change your mind, to change your assumption and change how you think, your mental pattern. To choose to change your mind, choose to change your feeling, choose to change your assumption, and you choose to finally apply it. Most people hear this wisdom, but very few test it. But I am telling you, test it, it does not fail. But you must change your mind. Now let's come to the practical side of this lecture. Because understanding is wonderful, but application is where your life begins to change. So if you open the 2026 Reality Architect workbook, which is dedicated step-by-step practice workbook to manifest your desired life in 2026, and you go to the day 4, Structural Integrity, the Law of Assumption, you will notice that each day contains 2 pages. First page is titled as Your Assumption. Second page is titled as Why This Assumption is Already True. So let me explain how to use them. For the page 1, Your Assumption, this is where you write the assumption that aligns with your manifestation. So if you're manifesting a job, for example, you might write, I have an amazing job with a salary of XYZ rupees amount or whatever the currency is, and all the perks I desire. Simple, direct, and clean. This is your chosen assumption with respect to your manifestation, the inner truth you are deciding to occupy. And in page 2, under why this assumption is already true, this is where you build the supporting reason, the internal architecture, just like we have discussed above, the emotional foundation of the assumption. And you write all the reason why this assumption is already true for you, but with a feeling. For example, if you have written, I have an amazing job with a salary of XYZ amount and all the perks I desire. Now you have to list in the second page all the reasoning behind it. It is because maybe I am the valuable asset to any company. This is the reasoning. And this reasoning makes you say that I have an amazing job, because if you have that value, you are the valuable asset. If you think you are the valuable asset, then you will be getting the amazing job. Why not? And all the perks you ask from the corporate. Maybe you should write, I bring unique skills and perspective. I am dependable, intelligent, and solution oriented. Company benefit tremendously from people like me. I naturally attract opportunities that match my worth. And these are not affirmations. These are the supporting truth your mind can emotionally agree with. Now, as you fill this page, I want you to value yourself very high. See yourself as skilled, capable, deserving, loved, healthy, respected, chosen, and significant, right from that version of you. And to help you even more, let me give you one more example. So for example, you want to have a very beautiful relationship with your specific person. So in the assumption you may write, I'm in loving, committed, and emotionally fulfilling relationship with my XYZ, whatever the name of your SP is. And in the second page, why this assumption is true. You may write reasoning like, I'm naturally lovable and deeply desirable. Who wouldn't love me? I bring warmth, loyalty, and emotional intelligence to relationships. My presence elevates the life of the people I connect with. I communicate with clarity and compassion. I attract a partner who recognizes and cherishes my value. My partner loves me so much. He is in deeply love with me. All the reasoning which supports your assumption, and which is I am in loving, committed, and emotionally fulfilling relationship with my partner. And this is how you build the emotional foundation of your new assumption. You're training your mind to accept a new truth. And what's the best way, according to Neville, to change your assumption is to work at the core, where really the assumption starts, and this is your feeling. Because when you change your feeling, you're changing your reasoning. And when you change your reasoning, you change your assumption. You're training your mind to accept a new truth. Our mind accepts the language of feeling. And the more you revisit it, the more natural it becomes. And remember this, you must do this. Not just hear it. Hearing is one thing, but you must do it. Not just understanding, you need to do it. Fill these pages sincerely. Write your assumptions, write your supporting reasoning, and repeat it daily with the commitment. I hope you have been following 2026 Reality Architect series diligently. The day 1, the day 2, day 3, and now day 4. Each day is designed to build the next. Follow it in order, follow it correctly, and you will see your life transform. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in comments. And if your situation is very personal, you need privacy, you can always reach out to me directly. Till we meet next time, in day 5, stay in your assumption and stay in your power.